Welcome to the Women of Ambition podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Calder-Hume. I loved last week's episode with Natalie Willis, the baby sleep trainer, and how our discussion on ambition showed how it seeps into every area of our life, including our relationships. Today, we're going to look at ambition in conjunction with our core values and examine where ambition fits for each of us. So, is ambition a value? In Season 2, Episode 8, I shared that my top values are independence, growth, and service. And I do expect achievement of myself and am naturally driven and hardworking, but for me, ambition is secondary to those three things: independence, growth, and service. It wasn't until I had all three core values nailed down for a few years before I was able to recognize that ambition was also up there in probably like my top 5 core values. But it was hidden by shame and fear and misunderstanding of what meekness and humility truly are. And those false beliefs around ambition are what drove me to deep dive into this topic and unearth what was hidden for me. That being that ambition is neutral, as are all core values, that ambition does not negate my ability to uplift others, to be kind, or to be honoring of those who don't share my level of internal drive. Digging into all of that here with all of you alongside of each of our guests has been fascinating and beautiful. And I'm surprised even now to realize that even as much as I have owned my ambition, I don't feel the need to reshuffle my core values. Those values are the feet to a three-legged stool that support my ambition. And my ambition cannot be sustained without them. Altogether, they make a really stable base for me to exist from, a balanced place to set my core and interact with the world. So if you think of a stool and each of my 3 core values as a leg of that stool, as my independent leg is not honored, it grows shorter and shorter. And as I overextend my service, that leg grows longer and longer. Well, my ambition slides off the top. And that can only be regained as those legs are consciously regulated and balanced. Only then can I offer my best to the world, my ideas, my words, my courage, my vulnerability and confidence. With the support of those values and acceptance of my base level ambition, I'm then free to become my best self. You might consider your own core values and dig into what supports you in living your truth. What are the essentials to your stability? And what are the results of living in alignment? And then where does ambition fit into that for you? When in balance, my core values support my drive to achieve, and my life is balanced. As I honor my core needs, I can take bigger risks with more confidence because I know myself better and I choose into what is sustainable. I can play in my ideas, experiment, and evolve my projects and goals. All of that has lended to Season's 2 focus, harnessing ambition, so moving from an idea, that inner trait, into the physical realm. In Season 2, we've examined the application of ambition from childhood to adulthood with Alyssa Holbrook and Trina Boyce, making space for ambition with McKenna Myler and Preeti Harbuk, and evolution and refinement of ambition with Natalie Willis. Now that we've learned about each of those steps, we can apply our ambition with intention and really create what we want with our lives. With that in mind, we are now closing Season 2 today and looking forward to the start of Season 3, where we'll examine all the different ways ambition pops into our lives, starting with a New Year's episode on cultivating ambition and setting goals, and guests in January along the theme of personal growth. Then in February, we'll look at how ambitions show up in our relationships with friends and family and marriages and parenting, and most importantly, with ourselves. And we'll continue to explore more applications of ambition throughout Season 3. As we close Season 2, I want to thank everyone for listening and participating on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm happy to report that this is our 20th episode. Woohoo! That is a huge milestone, and I'm so grateful for all of you who have been along for the ride. I am happy to report that as of today, I am able to check off one of my goals for this podcast, and that I have now begun to make money from the podcast. I was approached to run an ad for Wisdom, an audio-based app for verbal social media exchanges. And I've been exploring the app, and I think it's pretty dang cool. You can create an account and listen to one of the thousands of live amazing speakers, ask questions and interact. And or host your own chat room. So I'll be hanging out there on Wednesday, the 22nd at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for anyone who wants to come chat with me. I'll be sharing a preview of my own goal setting process and taking any questions that you and the listening community have. So come hang out with me. It'll be a week from the time this recording is published, December 22nd at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And my handle there is the same as on Instagram. So that's at Women of Ambition Podcast. I think you can also search my name, Alyssa Hume or Alyssa Calder Hume, and it should come up. So it feels pretty amazing to be making money from this podcast, and I can't thank each of you enough for helping me meet my ambitious goals of doing something I love and getting money for it. It's no walk in the park, but I feel like I'm gaining traction, so I'm just really stoked about that, and it's a great place to be starting a new year from, great energy to be coming from. So thank you for listening today. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at Women of Ambition Podcast, and I hope to chat with each of you next week. I look forward to the start of season 3 in January. If you haven't yet done the core values exercise from episode 8 of season 2, please do it in the next 2 weeks so we can really hit the ground running in January. I think there is just an energy to the new year that is undeniable. If you can start January with your core values in mind and some key goals and combine those, you're just going to be unstoppable. So I look forward to talking to you in the new year. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas break.